friends, ERIKATESLA here. Thank you so much for deciding to click on this video. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new, thanks so much for deciding to check in and hang out and find out what my channel is about. I love to talk about makeup products. I have a particular penchant for eyeshadow palettes, which is what we are going to be talking about today, which is the new Faced Appley In Love palette. I know it's kind of hard to believe that we are fast approaching the end of summer and school's about to start for a lot of us if it hasn't already. I have kids who are starting later this month, and so for us it's just like the summer zoomed by. So when I saw this palette, I thought that this was so adorable and definitely reminiscent of the upcoming fall season. And if you live in an area that has 4 seasons, we like to do things like apple picking in the fall. So I thought that this was a really cute theme, and it piqued my curiosity because I really like the tin packaging Too Faced palettes. I don't go for every single palette that I see from the brand, but when I saw that this one had the tin packaging and what I think is a very pretty color story, and I'm going to try to show you guys without blinding you with the mirror. I thought that this was really, really cute, and I just was very curious. Now, this is probably not the most exciting palette out there. I think we have seen a lot of really gorgeous color stories from a variety of brands, particularly indie brands. So when Too Faced came out with this, no, it's not absolutely groundbreaking or revolutionary, but it is pretty darn cute, and I love the packaging. I thought the theming was really nice, and I do like this color story. I did do today's look using the shadows from this palette, and I'm going to kind of move my camera to the side for you guys so that you can see the tutorial for this look while I'm chatting about this palette. We have 18 shades in here. And the description of this palette, it says, this juicy palette is packed with 18 super sweet shades inspired by the fresh colors of real apples, must have neutrals and pops of red, green, and warm caramel, and a variety of finishes. Let you create and recreate every seasonal trend with a creamy blendable formula that smells like caramel apples. And so here's the back of the palette, which has the name of it. I love the text. It's giving me all of the fall vibes, and here's the box that tells you the color story and the color scheme. And so I think it's very much on par with a fall color scheme, but it's also like you have some deeper colors here, but it is a pretty, like, I would say mid-tone eyeshadow palette. The deepest shade they have is this brown called Baskets Full. And when I was applying them, I did notice that these shades are buildable. So with the Too Faced formula, typically it's not going to be like this immediate punch of color. The shades are incredibly buildable, which I think is actually really nice, especially if you are a beginning makeup wearer or somebody who is not necessarily looking for like a crazy intense color payoff. And that is something that some people actually want. Everybody doesn't necessarily seek out these like incredibly intense pigments. And I would say for this palette, you have like some very everyday wearable shades. You have a lot of options here in terms of just going with the matte shades for a look. You could also do the shimmers alone. You could do a few. You have quite a few one and done options if you wanted to keep it really simple. And the palette, it does smell really nice. I don't know if I would say, I guess caramel apples. Yeah, it is sweet. It's really, really nice. I think it's a really, really cute palette, you guys. So I'm also going to throw up some swatches for you guys while I'm chatting about the details of this palette for you. So I think you can find this palette on a variety of sites, but I found mine on Ulta. This does retail, it retails for $54, which is about on par with this style of palette from the brand. Now on Ulta, there are some like not so great, actually there's not like a ton of reviews on Ulta, which is really interesting. The one review that I do see that's like a 1 star that's really pulling the rating down is from someone who doesn't like the smell. So if you do not like scented palettes, that is something that you're going to want to consider before you purchase the palette. As I mentioned, this format of Too Faced palette is the one that I tend to go for. I do really prefer the tin packaging to some of the palettes I've seen in the cardboard packaging, just because I think that their quality is decent. It's good. It's okay. It's not bad at all. I think this is, again, a very everyday wearable choice, especially if you want everyday wearable colors. The color story is very wearable, very nice. I think it's a really, really beginner-friendly, colorful palette, if you will. And so, yes, I think some people would say that this is basic, because if you were to take out the green and the red shade and these 3 shades here, because we have this shade Slice Baby, we have the shade Appley In Love, and the shade Pick Me, like those are kind of like the more like bold shades, I would say. You have a pretty neutral palette, and this is something that we have seen from Too Faced before, where they'll present us with a majority neutral color story with pops of color, but I would contend that that is what makes them pretty wearable. And I think what makes these palettes very popular is because most people are looking for some kind of balance in their eyeshadow palettes. So with that being said, I wanted to show you guys some of the past palettes in this kind of similar format in the tin packaging, the few that I have left, because I've decluttered quite a few Too Faced palettes, guys. But I do have this Italian Spritz palette here. So you can see like this is like a much more like bright, summery color story that is definitely reminiscent of the summertime. So I'm going to put these two together so that you could see just what I'm talking about in terms of the color story here. So I'll move my hand and I'll try to position this so the mirror is not blinding you guys. But if you'll see here, we've got some like pinky shades in both palettes. We have a very kind of like similar maroony color in both palettes, the browns, but what's different is like some of the signature colors that I think are what the theme is centered around here. So in the Spritz palette, we have this like kind of pale blue here in the corner, and we have like this blue shade, and I think that's what makes this a little bit different from the Appley In Love palette, which has more of the greens and the red shades in there. But generally, both palettes have these kind of like neutral shades, these grounding shades, if you will, to build the look from. So these aren't exactly the same, but if you look at some of the mattes in particular, you will find that there's a couple of similar tones to those palettes. The next one that I haven't used this one in a while, guys. This was the Cinnamon Swirl palette. So here is the Cinnamon Swirl. This one is just very heavy on the neutrals. You really only have like that pop of like purple, that kind of soft magenta shade. And like I said, even the bolder colors, when you're applying these, like they're not like the most intense. So this is the shade Food Court. And so as you can see, like this is the kind of most intense shade in this palette. And even that is still pretty soft if you were to apply it. So I'll show you guys these two. So you could see that the Appley In Love definitely kind of has like some similarities as well, but you know, it's a little bit punchier. Last but not least, my friends, is the Pumpkin Spice palette. So I've had this one for a couple of years, and again, you know, we have that neutral with the pops of the color. So yes, I probably fell for it again. Okay, Too Faced does this. They give us these like neutral palettes with like, you know, 3 or 4 kind of like statement or signature colors. So for example, we have this deep purple here called Spice of Life. I have the other shade from the other palette on there. So we have that shade, and then we have PSL and Chill, these like kind of purpley shades. But yes, and then they all kind of seem to have like a similar like kind of mustardy yellow color. I don't know if you've noticed that as I'm pulling these palettes out for you guys to look, but this is Appley In Love and Pumpkin Spice. They're both giving me fall. Really, I think what differentiates the Appley In Love palette is this green shade. This is really, yeah, pick me. The green shade here is the color that is defining this palette, the green and the red. But I fell for it, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a sucker for this like really cute apple packaging. It's adorable. I love the tints, and I hope they continue to do that. Like, I think they had come out with like a pancake palette, and I was like, for that price point, because it was the same price as the tin packaging, for me to pay for the cardboard, I just felt like from Too Faced, it didn't make sense for me to get that, especially if the color story wasn't anything spectacular. So I am not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a sucker. Like, I kind of make these judgments. It's a balance between, do I like the aesthetics of the makeup and the packaging and the product itself? Because even though, okay, the packaging is really cute, this isn't the most outstanding formulation in the world, but I do like Too Faced formulation. So in that vein, I was able to justify it. Like, this is the logic of a makeup lover. It doesn't have to make sense to everyone, but somehow it makes sense to us, if you know what I mean. So definitely a really cute palette. I don't know that it's a must have. You probably already have shades like this in your collection. Like, I would say this green shade, if you have any like Natasha Denona, if you have like her, I think it was like the Retro Glam palette where she has the green. Actually, let me see if I have that. Okay, here we go. So here's what I'm talking about. You see the Retro Glam palette? This is Natasha's Retro Glam, and you see that minty shade that's called Slice Slice Baby. Okay, I've got like close to like 3-4 shades in that same color story, okay? And it has a shade called Flare in there that's kind of like a pinky maroony color, like this shade right here. I'm trying not to blind you guys with the mirror, so sorry for the odd angles, but we know that we have these shades. We know that we have these shades, but I will say I'm really happy with how this look came out. I had a lot of fun just playing with the colors. It was a fun experience. I enjoyed it, and I think that that is the whole point when you're trying out these new eyeshadow palettes, because there's not really anything new under the sun these days. We have seen it all before, but I do give Too Faced points for giving us like a very cute theme. So if you like cute makeup, definitely this is one to consider. If you find this to be maybe on the more juvenile side, you're not really impressed by packaging, and you're just solely looking at like color story and quality, then you probably don't need this. I mean, we really don't need any of this stuff. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm influencing you to purchase this. This is a must-have. Most of the things that makeup lovers have in their collection aren't necessarily like a must-have, but if you're curious and you like to try out different products and things like that, I would consider this one if it comes to Sephora, for example, picking it up on sale. If Too Faced has a sale and this is available, sometimes HSN and QVC, they have Too Faced products on sale. I would consider picking this up on sale, or using one of your Ulta coupons and or points. Occasionally Ulta does have coupons that allow you to get a discount on prestige brands of makeup, and so that's where I would say if you have an interest in this, please get it on sale. Please save yourself a few dollars. It's still a really fun palette. It's not like, oh, you know, don't get it at all, but if you do get it, save yourself some money. It's really cute. It is a really cute palette. Like, I'm not mad at this at all, and I think this is one that's just, it's very easy to use if you just wanted to like go in with a shade and swipe it on and like keep it moving. So it's fun, and that's where I will leave it. I would love to know what you guys think about this palette. Are you going to pick this up? Are you interested in this one at all? Like, was this on your radar? I just thought, okay, we're approaching fall. This is one that I definitely see myself picking up, and I will say with the red shades, guys, they are wearable, so you can sheer them out. Like, I know sometimes red eyeshadows can seem a little bit intimidating, but the reds in this palette, like this shade, you can definitely like, you can sheer that out. It doesn't have to be like a really like, you know, intense red, but maybe you're looking for that. So that's something to consider. But either way, I could go on and on, guys. Let me know what you think about this palette in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I love to hear your thoughts. I appreciate that I am cultivating an audience that's like keeps it real with me, because you guys will tell me like, yeah, that's not good, or I really like that. And I really enjoy hearing that feedback from you guys, because it definitely is fun to just consider, you know, when you're making these purchases, like, is this something really worth it? Would I recommend this to like a friend or family member that's maybe thinking about this product? So I love hearing from you guys. I always appreciate you taking time to leave me comments. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoy content like this, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join my little corner of the internet where we chat about makeup. As I like to say, we keep it chill over here. The world has enough going on, so this is a nice little, you know, fun space for us to talk about makeup releases and that kind of thing. And again, just as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I appreciate you so much. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.